Hello and welcome. Welcome to a project brought unites us. So today, I am your hostess, Dr. Natalie Force. I'm very honored to be here today. I happen to be not the global, no, that's the lady next to me. I happen to be the country chair for Germany of the Oneness and Wisdom Wing. G100, if you haven't heard of it, not sure where you've been, but the G100 mission is to provide thought leadership. It provides thought leadership on what needs to be done to ensure that we are inclusive, safe, that the economy works for all of us, that women are also empowered globally. We're working on addressing gender gaps, achieving gender parity, and all of this as soon as possible, hopefully within the decade. Now, all of this was created by Dr. Harbeen Aurora. I'm very grateful to know her. I'm very grateful that she came up with this amazing idea to bring our mission and vision as G100. This particular wing, the Oneness and Wisdom Wing, created a project that is called Our Diversity Unites Us. And of course, it's not like we all came up with this. No, this young lady next to me, Jennifer Randive, the Maverick, the global chair of the Oneness and Wisdom Wing, actually thought, what can we do to make sure we understand what oneness really means and to bring wisdom to the people across the globe? So she thought, why not highlight every wing that is out there right now? Bring in the amazing leaders of those wings. This is how Our Diversity Unites Us started. And so we are here then to invite all the different wings to share their mandates, to share how they plan and how they're working on achieving that mandate. And of course, that means that the best person to talk about Our Diversity Unites Us and the plan behind it is no one else but Jennifer Randive, the Maverick CEO, who has a long history of leading, of being an engaging, empowering, transformational performance manager, leader, executive. She focuses on change and transformation individually and globally. In other words, when you hear words like engagement, empowering, all of those words, clarity to me, then I think of Jennifer. Jennifer, why don't you share a little bit about you and how you came up with this idea?
Well, thank you very much for that intro, Nat. It was really, really awesome. I think one of the main things that we have done is thinking about the project 2023. It was more about how is it that we can engage, empower, energize, and also bring people into empowering everyone, because each one of us is so unique. Okay. And that's why the word diversity. Within the groups that we have, there is so much of diversity. Within the areas of all the work that we have done in the past and in the future, and right now, there's been diversity. The individuals actually bring the flavor. So I thought, why not actually collect and have all our lovely global wings that are out there and bring them one by one for them to share their brilliance with us. And that for me is oneness. We all are one, yet diverse. So that was the whole concept. And that's why I actually thought, why not just do that? Because I thought it was a brilliant idea at the time. And I think it's working out to be pretty cool because I'm learning so much from my other global sisters and what they do. And we are here to share this, to make G100 known as a movement that is here to actually effect being the change in action. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. And one thing when we're saying G100, when we're saying global chair, I just want to alert everybody who's watching right now and later that this is truly global. The three guests that we have today are from the USA, from Slovenia, and from New Zealand. And of course, Jennifer is in Dubai and I'm in Germany. So we are covering and hoping to empower the whole world. And
And
anybody
we,
listening
and
is
we
also
have our
talented.
global chair. The global chair for arts leadership is Bina, and she's from India. So we have
Exactly.
quite a large area covered over here, which is cool.
Yes. So, what do you think, Jennifer? Should we get started?
I think it would be a real cool idea. I just would love to know who these amazing women are. So
Yes.
please take it away.
Absolutely. So, the first young lady that I would love to introduce to you is Lisa Russell. And Lisa Russell, she just joined us down here, is an Asian American Emmy winning filmmaker. She's the curator and founder of, you can see it in her name, Creator 2030. Welcome. Happy to see you, Lisa. I think it's cold where you're at. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about you and Create 2030?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, yes, thank you for having me. It is a bit chilly. I'm calling in from Brooklyn, New York. I'm normally in Kenya, so I flew out a couple days ago and the temperature is a little, jarring. So I'm trying to warm up, but I think I'll be okay. So again, thank you so much for having me. I do work as a filmmaker, but I have a pretty unconventional path towards becoming a filmmaker. I didn't go to film school. I actually started off getting my master's in public health in international health and landing my first job in Kosovo and Albania during the 1999 war. And it was there that the importance of responsible storytelling was made very clear to me in speaking with women from Kosovo who were constantly being bombarded by journalists who wanted to tell the story about rape being used as a tool of war, which was a very important issue for that time and that war. But the way that the journalists were approaching the topic was basically, like, I have 3 days to tell this story. I need to speak to women who've been raped. Can you raise your hand if you've been raped? And it really shook me, listening to the women talk about this and seeing both the anger and the frustration that they were feeling. But what they said after that was, not only is that disrespecting what we're going through, but at the end of the war, we will no longer be remembered as Kosovar women, but as Kosovar women who'd been raped. And that just hit me to my core. And I think, without going into a lot of detail, it resonated with me because I grew up essentially trying to change my own narrative because I was oftentimes called, the kind of poor girl from the Chinese family, no father, like all these labels. And it never accurately portrayed, I think, my potential. It was just, harmful labels, harmful narratives. And so I set out really pursuing a career to do storytelling in the UN NGO space. And that has its own, case of challenges of how do we tell stories that are dealing with such serious topics in a way that retains the dignity of the people that we're telling stories about. And I've also always included other artists. I came from a dance background and I played music. I did a lot of different arts, practices, but I felt that it was a way to engage very serious topics while at the same time celebrating the culture of the places that these films were being, documented. So I created Create 2030 about engaging diverse artists in support of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And I do most of my work in the UN NGO space. And I love my job. It comes with its challenges. And I think, the world after COVID really woke up to the importance of artists in society. And now we've gotten over that hurdle. I think there's a consensus that that's true. But now I think we're facing a lot of other obstacles and hurdles that we need to address in sustaining livelihoods and creating a sustainable environment for artists to thrive in this space. So I think that's quickly about me. Hope I didn't talk too long.
No, beautiful. Thank you. That was also important. The 17 sustainable goals are, of course, crucial to all of us. So thank you for that introduction, Lisa. Now I'm going to bring in another leader from the wing, and this is Sonia Sophia Truss. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Correct me in a minute if I'm wrong. Sophia is a renowned Slovenian academic, painter, and architect. She's also been an author of cultural and artistic shows on TV in Slovenia. Welcome, Sonia. That was brief. What else would you like to tell us about you? Oh, we can't hear you. Hold on.
Yeah.
We live in the virtual environment. There you are. No. Hold on. You unmute yourself for a second. You accidentally muted yourself.
Maybe now.
There you go. Awesome job. Awesome. Okay.
Good,
So
good.
Slovenia, other parts of the world we are now, yes. First, thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Jennifer, to make this a great opportunity that we really can unite us in really different part of the world. And this name, diversity, that unite us, it's really like maybe was also my mission from childhood till now. I am artist, I am architect, I am doing my things, especially in connection also with my art, with my pictures, with connection, humanity, all kind of persons or beings, you know. So through this, hello?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. Carry on. We can hear.
All good.
All good.
Now good. Hello,
Yes,
hello.
yes.
Yes, sorry. So my work now is eco architecture and mandala art, and it is connected really with united and the world and the human beings and architecture or art around us, around the world, you know. So especially this kind of mandala consciousness is so important these days for us, because really it unites also in artistic forum, in architectural forum, and consciousness forum, you know. And also this different diversity, not just around us, but also in art that we present today. Art wing of G100. Hello, we here? Yes, art in art wing G100. We want to connect really this diversity in all parts of our G100 mission. So with also with my exhibitions, with my projects, I connect also all of you in different kind of art, in music, in architecture, in film, in especially art, you know, to connect all us in this kind of forum, of symbol that already connect all of us through the history, because I am researching in different part of the world, you know, how mandala was present from ancient ages until now in all kind of religions or cultures in the world. For example, we know mandala principle in India, for example, in India, from where Bena, Jennifer, maybe many of you are also coming from, and generally the world know mandala word from there, like a circle, but actually I'm now researching how was also very much presented in Europe, through Greece, Rome, and before, but now is in Catholic, in Christianity tradition, we have in Gothic rosette, if you know
Yes.
rosette.
Yeah.
And it's really great vision, great showing how this is spiritual element that is
Yes.
always connected in all kind of architecture. So this
That's
is, I think, through symbolic, from artistic way,
right.
showing connection with all of us. And if we will have also in Slovenia or our other countries presentations or performances,
I
exhibitions,
think, I'm
we
sorry,
will
I'm sorry,
invite
Sonia, I'm so sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. I've got a whole lot of questions for you, but a little later on.
Yeah.
We would like to bring our next guest. So,
Sherry in?
Natalie,
Can we bring
yes,
Sherry in?
please.
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Let's bring Sherry in. And Sherry is actually a Taiwan born concert pianist. She now resides in New Zealand. So if you see it dark where she's at, it is very, very early in the morning. She's a pianist, a cellist, an award-winning poet, journal editor, and a festival organizer. It is such a pleasure to meet you here as well, Sherry. Thank you for getting up so early. Would you like to add anything to what I just said?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me to be here. I originally came from Taiwan, but a long time ago I have moved to New Zealand with my parents, and I'm trained as a cellist. But these days I actually perform as in concerts as a pianist. I've actually just returned not too long ago, about 3 weeks ago, from the French Festival in Wellington, and.
Wow.
About less than 3 years ago I started writing poetry, so now I'm also a poet, and I published a book with my youngest daughter Zoe when she was 6. We wrote it together. It was a lot of fun, and now we actually edit short form poetry journals. We're a little bit famous in the haiku poetry field in the community, and this year, at the end of this year, I'll be organizing my 4th festival online and playing concerts associated with that festival.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful.
Wow. Thank you so much for adding that. So now we have information, a little bit more information from all of you, which means I will now hand it over to Jennifer, who has some questions to go a little deeper into some of the issues. Jennifer, please take it away.
Thank you. As I started off earlier on, I talked about diversity and how it unites. You see, this is the reason why it is so amazing to see people from such diverse backgrounds, diverse cultures coming together. I mean, hats off to Dr. Harbin Arora for her having a vision to actually bring all of us together and to share what it is that our wisdom is. So, having said that, we are going to wait and bring Bina on a little later because she's in transit and has sent me a message right now, but I'm hopeful that she's going to be able to join us. But in the interim, I just wanted to, I was reading about what it is arts and leadership is. And one of the things that I find interesting is that it's not only based on the arts and the sculpturing and the music. If you've noticed, the new age is we even talk about the art of change, the art of leadership, the art in creating dynamic systems. So, art actually has infiltrated every area of our life. And I just wanted to bring that out because when I talk about doing the job that I do, and which is more about transformation and empowerment and engagement, I actually say the art of engagement, the art of transformation, and the art of energizing people. It's an art form. It really is an art form. So we are actually borrowing all the art impressions that are coming through and adding it on to the different work that we do, which is really cool, I think. What do you ladies think? Yeah? Okay. But having said that, there is a lot that I actually picked up when I was looking at what it is this amazing woman, Veena Krishnan, actually embarked on when she decided to be the global chair of G100 Arts and Leadership. And what her vision has been is to build a culturally enriched nation, stroke nations, okay, that embraces and protects all forms of art by providing the required support to artists. The endeavor to work towards the growth of artists while safeguarding their rights and ensuring their economic independence, recognition, and patronage. Now, she has spoken about this, and there are many other things that are there, but I wanted to actually ask the first question and pose it to Lisa, if I may. Are you ready to rock and roll, Lisa?
Always ready. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Bring it.
So I think it's a cool thing to actually to look at how it is that arts and culture can take on different ways and how it can actually show up. And I have noticed that you've talked about art leadership, which also includes the films and filmmaking. Films are the biggest collaborative canvas for any artist. Okay, it brings together several art forms to create a cohesive and a compelling experience that can integrate artistic minds. And this is so true. But my question to you would be, what is it that you think needs to be changed? Because we are experiencing all kinds of roadblocks. Uh, Art is not sometimes considered something important, but we are here to change that. Okay. So, my question to you is, what do you see as being something that we can change in the current environment that will drive more cohesive interaction that empowers artists to get paid? Because everyone needs to have a sustainable life. Everyone needs to be paid. My question is, what can we do to change this way of operating where people do not even consider art as something that requires to be paid?
Yeah, really important and very nuanced question. I mean, we could talk about this for a very long time and unpack it,
Yes.
but I think what I'd like to point out is that oftentimes, we have to differentiate what types of art we're talking about. Some people define celebrity, Hollywood as art. Some people define poets in the slums of Nairobi as art, and those livelihoods and that power and privilege is very, very different depending on which lens you're looking through. I tend to work in the informal art section. So I'm a filmmaker, but I'm a one-person crew. I do everything. I don't have a team. I don't work with a film crew because I work on short documentaries. I work with poets. I work with musicians, and they make their entire livelihood off of their art form. This is very different than artists who might work in museum spaces or institutions or arts organizations. These are informal arts workers. And I think what people did come to realize is during the pandemic, it was said that our sector was the first to get hit and will likely be the last one to recover. And so this is when I kind of went into full gear into talking about representation of artists in policymaking around the creative economy, because these are policies that affect our livelihoods, and we don't oftentimes get a seat at the table. We get asked to sing songs or show a film or play an instrument, but we don't oftentimes get asked to really help shape policies that affect us. And I think that was amplified during COVID, because what had happened is that there was a lot of interest in working with the artists. There were calls for art, there were arts contests, and they were all, without intentionally, I think, realizing it, make it even harder for our livelihoods by taking away our ability to get paid either at the front end to get contracted to create new work, or to use our artwork at the end. And, for films, for example, have a distribution deal, because a lot of these arts contests want the rights to your artwork to be able to share across social media, around the internet, with no limitations. And I think when we start thinking about livelihoods, if we want to engage artists in a sustainable manner, we have to really step back and think about responsible policymaking and programs for artists, understanding the different, ways that we live. I got asked by a global health organization to get artists involved with the Universal Healthcare Day. And I was like, well, this is really funny to me. Not funny, but I was just like, there's a lot of artists who don't have healthcare, so we can be advocates, but we should also be considered beneficiaries, because a lot of artists don't have healthcare insurance or health insurance. So I think in order to really move this conversation forward, we need to let artists lead it, so that we can educate people on how we actually survive, because it is very, very different than people who may have a full-time job or who have, a constant source of income. We work in different spaces, we work in different ways, but without understanding all of those, little different details, I think that there's a threat of exploiting and tokenizing artists in a way that's not intentional, but actually happens. And so I just really push for, it's great that everyone's excited about creative economy. I do work mostly in the UN NGO space, which I love, but now it's time for us to really start getting serious about creating responsible policies on how to engage, especially artists in the informal arts sector, and to ensure the diversity, from, again, the celebrities, activists, all the way down to the voices at the community level, who are incredibly, I would even argue, more powerful sometimes than, the Beyoncés or something like that, because they're around the community on a regular basis. And I think it's now time for us to really start thinking about the different ways that artists are engaged in society and figuring out solutions to ensure that their livelihoods are protected. You're on mute. Yeah.
Is there anything that you can actually give any advice to people out there as to the ways that they can actually inculcate payment plans, how people should be educated to be able to ask for money? Because I think there is a very interesting thing that keeps going on, is that people somehow do not feel comfortable asking to be paid.
That's
And
true.
So something to that effect, something that can bring people into empowering people.
Well, I think, artists are really entrepreneurs. And I think that, I'm starting this Arts Envoy lab where I'm going to be teaching artists on how to build brands in the sustainability space, because it's getting more and more, competitive. It's great. We have a lot of artists who really want to create content around climate change, gender equality, food security, clean water. It's fantastic. But there is no system in place for you to be found fairly easy by different conferences, initiatives, or whatnot. And so My Create 2030 is working on an app that will help solve that, and also, training opportunities to really help artists know how to position themselves so that it's easier to get gigs. But I've also been on the other side where I've been like, yes, I have a great network of artists. Whatever you need, I have authentic voices all around the world who can help you build an interesting component to your program. But their response was, okay, well, we can work with these artists who aren't asking to be paid. They're agreeing to volunteer. And so what you're creating is a system where only the very privileged artists will be able to work in those spaces and then continue to get opportunities, while those who need to get paid or need compensation in some manner are going to be left out. This is why, I'll shout out the UN Youth Envoy's office, who got rid of unpaid internships, because they realized that what's that doing is it's putting the very privilege young people in the UN, and those who can't do unpaid internships for 3 months or 6 months are not being included. And then you have,
disparity.
yeah, exactly. And it's mostly, young people from the global South. A young woman just spoke out at CSW about the lack of opportunities for young people, in the global South, because they can't afford to attend these big meetings and whatnot. So what do? We need to even the playing field. And that requires a lot of conversations and a lot of systems change to make sure that we approach this responsibly. We're just scratching the surface. We have a lot to do. And I think it starts with engaging artists who live and work and survive independently to understand how how we work, how our sector works.
So I have another question. I'm just extremely curious. Is like, so do you perceive that the people like the likes of Beyonce and the really well-known names, Lady Gaga, for example, also, um, would it be okay for people like yourself and especially G100 Arts and Leadership to be able to connect with those people, to be able to help them to see what it is that can be done and how it is that they can support the segment that is still not being recognized? Perhaps that is something that could be done. I'm just
No, it's
speaking
a
out
great
loud.
idea. I mean, one of the things we talked about during COVID is that people were like, why are we seeing people like Lady Gaga talk about, the suffering from COVID when you're like talking to us from your mansion? You know what I mean? Like, there are people who are not in the same position as you. But I think that, when you get to the level of the Lady Gagas and the Beyonce, they have machines behind them. They have teams, they have money, they have, fame, they have everything behind them. And they can, in their way, elevate sort of the up and coming artists. And I know some of them do. They will engage artists and give them a platform. And I know, a dancer from Beyonce whose whole career exploded, a painter who was in Beyonce's music video, their careers exploded by being associated with them, but they are far and few in between. I think that, and again, I mostly work in the UN space, and there's a big interest in boosting the creative economy, but it needs to be done in partnership with artists who live, work, and survive the way that we do. If you have a full-time job at the UN and you play guitar on the weekends, that's fantastic. It is still not the same. You are not I'm still working gig by gig by gig, and some months I don't get paid, and some months I get paid well. And so it's like understanding how our livelihoods work will help you decide how to best amplify it. But right now, the way I see it is it's mostly sort of, policy and program people speaking on behalf of people working independently. And it's just different. It's not bad intentions, but it's that there's a lack of understanding because you don't work like we do.
I think that this is a brilliant way of actually sharing what it is that actually occurs in the industry. And possibly this will be a great place for G100 Arts Leadership to actually lead this conversation and take it forward. It's a brilliant opportunity. So thank
It's
you very
necessary.
much, Lisa,
Thank
for
you.
your input. I think many people are saying a couple of things here. And yes, we've got people saying people should be paid. And I don't see why that is not possible. We've got to change the narrative there, for sure. Okay. So, Tanya, thank you for your comment. People need to be paid. We also have 3M Inspirations who says uh, people don't value art and artists still. That is why they are asking for art for free. Well,
That's
I
true.
think Miss 3M, who's headed by Anu, is a lady who has shifted gear from just being an artist that is liked on Instagram to actually changing that over for her to be able to generate revenue. So we could hear something from her, possibly, and you guys can connect together. So thank you very much, Lisa, for your time. I think our next guest is, should we call in Sherry? Oh, I have to, 1 second. Okay, here we go, Sherry. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. really quite early in the morning here
I
in New
know.
Zealand.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I mean, it's really remarkable that you're here and you're looking beautiful and smiling. So kudos to you, lady. Okay, so Sherry, um, you are an artist in the way of music. You write poetry. You curate festivals. I mean, that is quite a task to do. You know, it's managing, it's multitasking, it's getting right people in the way of actually helping this forward. My question to you would be is if you would think of using festivals that can serve as a platform to create and generate economic well-being for all artists, would that be a possibility, do you think?
I think that's a possibility a little bit more down the line because at the moment I'm just connecting people and making them actually know one another, and it's
Okay.
actually quite a global
I
thing.
I get that, Sherry. What I'm saying is, uh, do you envision that
Hmm.
having festivals is a pertinent platform to have all amazing artists come together and truly get paid for their amazing performances, be it art, be it music, be it poetry, any art form, a culmination of
Yes.
art form in a festival. How does that work? Does it work? Do people get paid? I'm just curious to find out, and I believe the audience would be too.
Well, in an online festival, well, I have been asking people to present, but some of them are paid, some of them are unpaid at the moment because this is just a we're all sharing our enthusiasm right now. But I think with
Mm,
the right kind of sponsorship, and
mm, mm,
actually
mm,
we're actually thinking of maybe moving up to Web3, as that's all the
mm,
fashion
mm,
right now, and the metaverse. And I think and reaching a bigger audience around the world. And I think
mm,
that that would be a good way of finding some revenue for the artists because it is difficult, like Lisa mentioned
mm,
before, for artists. We're going from gig to gig, and I'm creating that opportunity for artists to connect and a little bit more down the line.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay, that's thank you for sharing that, Sherry. I think the way that I perceive it, and I could be absolutely off the chart, but please do correct me if I am, is that what do you all think? And I'm going to open it up probably for everyone, is what do you think is the narrative that needs to change for people to perceive artists as people who are contributing, people who are leaders, people who can be the change? What do you get? What kind of conversations should we be having now that will change and shift this perception that artists cannot get paid or do should are not getting paid? What can we do for them to actually choose to get paid? Is it the artist that is not willing to actually go the extra mile to actually create that because we are trying to operate from the so-called norm that this has been done before, so nothing can change or it's going to be too much work? Or can all of us here have a voice to actually bring that to the fore so people can recognize that each one of us has got an artist hidden in them? So what are we doing about it? Just
Yeah.
just something to perhaps
Hmm.
think about.
Yeah, I believe that artists were more sensitive and uh, we are creative beings. But even though you can argue that everybody is an artist, but like the professional artists will probably just have more focus on what we do. We want to create all the time. But it's
Mm,
very time consuming to actually, because I am a promoter and I am a performer. I do online concerts, I do live, and I do everything from printing the program and putting everything together, inviting everyone. So I know what the work is involved. So it's for a lot of artists, they just don't have time for that. They would rather devote themselves to the creating their art. So I
mm,
think
okay.
by putting together a team, putting people together, people who specialize in those promoting or social media.
Yes, very true.
I think that would be a
Yes.
much better idea for than the artists having to struggle on their own.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more, because an artist is an artist is an artist, okay? Their whole creativity flows. They don't want to be bogged down with anything else other than just doing their art. But I think to be able to help them do their work better, we've got to find people. And that's why everyone can't do everything. You're very correct there. Absolutely spot on. But who is it and what is it that we can have that comes together to create far greater? I think that's what art leadership is all about. And that's what people actually, we're trying to achieve that through your wing. So that's really awesome. Really, really cool. It's the ability to find people, and probably a group of people who are going to be able to support the artists in every way possible. I think that's awesome. Thank you for that share. Very, very enlightening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And also, we are working all globally now.
Exactly,
So I think
exactly.
we're
Which
all
is
seeking opportunities and looking for opportunities for not just ourselves, but everybody else.
everyone
too.
else, exactly.
We're all
And that's what I
sharing.
love about G100. It's the coming together and sharing information, which truly explodes, the possibilities of connections, of creations, of co-creation, and of collaboration. Totally remarkable. Amazing stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sherry.
Thank you.
We have someone else in the wings, and this lady is awesome. Would we like to bring our amazing Sonia? Sonia comes from Slovenia, has done so many different things, and she was sharing earlier what kind of work she does. But Sonia, I think I would like to ask you about certain things. You have done art, culture. Um, you believe that art and culture binds humankind together, and in their world today, which seems to be so disruptive, art and culture actually brings people together. But in this time, when we are faced with so many challenges and the world seems to be so disruptive and seems to be falling apart, what do you think can be made different? So, my question to you is, would art serve as a calming and healing component to help create a world of more peace and prosperity for all? So, please tell us about the work that you do. And how do you see art and culture being united to create our world as being totally different and at peace? Please. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Yeah, now. No. Mm. Okay. Nope. We can't hear you. Now. Now. I heard something. No. 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 You're still muted. Mm. Yeah, pause. Okay. There we go. Ah, it's still it's causing static. No. Anyway, what I'll do, I'll bring you back. Okay, you fix that first. In the meantime, ladies, I would love to actually break the ice here, and I was wondering if Sherry, yes, Sherry, I
Yes.
was
Hi.
wondering, Sherry, if you would honor us with your musical piece at this moment while we wait for Sonia to
Sure.
get her stuff together.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to present Sherry, who is going to entertain us with her amazing piano piece. and we thought we'll get a bit of music into the broadcast as well.
Sure,
So please
I'll
take it away,
just go
Sherry.
to my
Thank you.
piano right now.
Yes,
So I'm
yes.
doing a festival at the end of this year, and it's dedicated to Catherine Mansfield. She's a New Zealand writer, and she passed away exactly 100 years ago. So I'm going to be performing all New Zealand music on my Asian tour in June, and the festival itself is called KM100 NZ. It's going to be at the end of this year in November online. So I will play you a very short piece by a New Zealand composer.
Okay. Wonderful.
And it's called For Kate Shepherd. And this is about, she was a fighter for women's rights in Christchurch.
Okay.
Back in the days, in the 1800s. Sorry, I think the camera is a little far away. You probably couldn't see me, but there you go.
I thought it was an amazing piece, really beautiful. Okay, I just wanted to ask, is Sonia okay now to come? Let me just, we're still not being able to hear you. Okay. Yeah, there was a bit of, again, it's gone off. It's gone off again.
Is it okay now? Hello.
Oh, yes, bravo.
Hello back.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello.
Please, yes, hi.
First, Jennifer, thank you very much for these top questions that you asked Lisa, Jennifer, and today, and also Sherry. They also answered very good. Also, Lisa, really, you put the point on all this, what is happening with art and artists in the world. I would say, towards your question, Jennifer, that is so important in the world consciousness, and consciousness about artists, because people should know in all kind of fields who are not artists, how art is one thing that, of course, it makes beautiful world. Artists are so sensitive souls. They are connected with our world. They are connected with the people. They are giving something really, really consciousness and beautiful to the world, to the people. So, in this time of the world, is just important. It's important, this business, this people, for example, people who are in business, then it's normal for them, then they get the money, and for the artist who is doing really job, that also this, not job, but work, that also this businessman can live in better and more beautiful place. So they should accept art as something that is doing really good for them, and to see that not everyone can do art, or to be such a kind of artist, because most of the artists are consciousness people, and they are for goodness, for the world. And this is the point. Top question, because also with the art and artists and with this my vision of mandala that I was explaining before is really connecting all the world, and it can connect us all with different views together. But because all around us, if I explaining from my architecture and eco and artist field, all around us are patterns of mandalas. Also creation of the universe is mandala. It goes in this 3D principle of creation of the world. So it is topmost symbol for us. Also in Vedas, that is 5,000 years old scriptures. It's written about mandala. It's written about yantra, that is origin of mandala, and it's written how this yantra is important. From yantras, different kind of yantras, we are connected to all universe. There are also other planets, Jupiter, Saturn, northern stars, sun, moon. We are all connected. We people are too much looking down. We also need here, especially on the west. I think east is little different, but to connect all this is so important. And with this what you are doing today is also great thing. This
Thank
is
you.
the thing to give consciousness to the world, and to give really consciousness to you. And I see some others, and we have this consciousness, we know, but we need to come to the people who are not conscious. For example, artists. I know I have exhibitions. Some my good friends artists have exhibitions. We travel from Slovenia far away to another part of Europe, but or in Slovenia, in one another place where to have exhibitions, I have to put my great big canvas, to put it to order these tracks, to put all this in these tracks, to make exhibition, to arrange everything. Already this takes a lot of time, energy, and it is just normal for this exhibition. You will bring this, you will put on the wall. Nobody pay you or little for this.
My Sonia, my question would be, um, with the work. So sometimes what it is that we do, for example, what you're doing is absolutely remarkable, and making the connection of architecture and mandalas and consciousness and bringing it all into one. There may not be people who actually are consciously aware of what it is that you're doing, but the impact that you're creating is to actually calm people down, quite honestly, for them to be able to perceive something differently. But I think, and this could be my personal opinion, and I could be wrong altogether, but it is about, I think, all of us truly wanting to take a stance and to stand up for all of us to be able to generate and create revenues by coming together. It's not only one wing doing it, we all have to collaborate, which is why it is that I think our diversity unites us, was created, because that is the pure essence of each one of us having amazing skills, abilities, and capacities. And when we can club them together, we can create far greater. So, having said that, we have just 6 minutes. So I'm going to open it up, Natalie, and to everyone to come on screen, because I would love to be able to. Oh, that looks lovely. Do you want to play us some more music? Maybe a little later, but I would like to ask questions. Um, Nat, please do join us also. Okay. Um, I would like to be able to ask a question, just for everyone to answer. and take a shot at is what can we do now, immediately, in this moment, to shift and change the narrative where artists are recognized and artists are paid? What is the one small step that we can take here, right now, to make that possible? It's open to everyone. Please jump in. And people who are listening to us, please do make your suggestions. We would like to show what it is that you are actually saying as well.
I think, yes.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I think that we immediately need. First, we are connected here on internet. We, when we this show ends, we need immediately to share it in our platforms. Because it gives this what you said, Jennifer. It gives this question about art and connection, everything together. So I think we need to share, and immediately if we see something, we can connect. Lisa is playing piano when we are doing, for example, art, sound, mandala shows. I will immediately invite her on to come and to have a show together, to have performance, art and music together, I
Yeah,
think this.
it's the culmination of different, and that's where the platform that Sherry is creating, the festival platform. I think all of us to be participating in that in any way possible. So please do reach out to any other wing, because we have 100 of them. G100 is a movement, ladies, and we are here to shift and change the narrative. We're not here to be in status quo.
Yeah, and
That does not allow us to grow, period. We are here to shift the narrative, to change it, to make things possible, because we are being the change in action, period. At least that's what I think, personally, as the global chair. And I may come across as being like in your face, but being the maverick is here to disrupt status quo, because that's where you grow to truly become the pro. That's what I believe in personally. We've got a couple of minutes. Yes, Lisa, please. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I was trying to raise my hand. What I would say is that, I've been to a couple of G100 gatherings in Dubai and then also in New York City. And there's some incredibly powerful women and allies that come to these events. And it's really impressive. I mean, I've been truly impressed by the women that have been involved. And I would say that maybe one of the first things we can do, because all of the artists that I know in the arts division are wearing multiple hats. I run festivals, Sherry run festivals. We're doing NFTs. We're doing, all these other things to try to diversify either our income or just the work that we do. I would say that, invite an artist to be at one of your events to let our voice be heard about this issue.
Exactly.
I think you having this gathering is really great. Maybe the other G100 members, we could all take turns amplifying
Absolutely.
other wings. And then I would say, instead of going out and buying music from your celebrity favorite artist, buy and support your artist friends. Like, I'm a filmmaker. I don't sell my films, but I curate stuff, and I'm going to, be creating some other stuff that I can monetize. But if we spent money supporting the people we do know in our own communities, our own lives, by supporting them instead of supporting celebrities who don't need the extra money, like they're doing okay. I think you could be helping build the economic, stability of artists. And then lastly, I would just say, ask an artist, invite an artist to your board of directors, ask an artist to be a delegate in one of the conferences that you're going to, ask an artist, as we talk about when you're dealing with like white supremacy in the United States, the best thing that you can do as an ally is to use your privilege to give a platform to somebody who doesn't have that same privilege. Use your privilege. All of us has privilege in some way. It's all a moving target. You know, I'm privileged in some spaces, underprivileged in others. Use that privilege to amplify the folks who you feel connected to and who you want to support, because nothing is going to change if we don't have a growing conversation and a consensus and an agreement, because a lot of artists are focused on creating work, but a lot of the artists I know are change makers. So they want to see this change, create art to make change. So we are here. I know many, many artists support our festivals, support our programs, support our webinars, support our labs. You know, I would just say that that's a start. You know, we're not going to come up with a solution tomorrow, but
Lisa, going forward, would you please share with us always what it is you're doing? All you ladies here, whatever it is you're doing, please share with us, because we know the power of social media and we would like to have it in everyone's face. The reason that I'm doing this Diversity Unites Us is truly because there is such amazing talent, ability, and skills within our frameworks. And it's about time people know who we are. We are here to be the change in action. Ladies, thank you very much for your time. It has been an honor and a privilege to actually get to know each one of you. Thank you so much. As they would say, namaste.
Namaste.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Would you like me to play one last piece to close us out?
Yes, please do.
Okay, I just have one more thing to add. Right now, I think because of the post-COVID world, I think everything is mostly moving online. So I think what we can do is actually finding out what's the best way to present our works online, and preferably a combined art forms. Yeah.
Yes.
And then find a way to reach our audience and be paid that way, because that means we can be paid from...
I may be able to assist you, because we have somebody in our wing, G100 Oneness and Wisdom, who might just be able to create something phenomenal for you guys too.
That would be awesome. That would be really wonderful.
Where you guys can get paid as well. It's about time.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. This is called Two for the Road, and it's from a movie, and the actress is my favorite, Audrey Hepburn, and yeah, my favorite piece too.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is one beautiful way to end our session. Thank you, ladies, once again. Natalie, for being the most amazing host. Thank you so much. Ladies,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for actually taking time. And Sherry, and whoever's gotten up early, thank you for actually honoring us with your time. Truly appreciate it. Ladies, thank you so much. And please be connected. If you would like to share with us in an email on WhatsApp the links to all the work that you do, we would love to be able to share it with our networks too. Okay? So thank you very much for your time and God bless.
Thank
Nat,
you, everybody.
thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.